Well, most sales teams don't lose deals because of pricing or product. They lose them in conversation. And today's guest, Bill Petersen, has built his entire career around fixing that exact product. He's a sales enablement leader who understands the emotional and human dynamics inside high stakes sales conversations and helps revenue teams turn those moments into momentum. Bill works with CROs, VPs of sales, and revenue leaders to eliminate friction, align sales strategy with core values, and help teams with empathy, clarity, and confidence. His insights have the power to transform how seven, eight-figure businesses communicate, connect, and close. And he's got a surprise for us today. If you care about real growth driven by better conversations, this episode is a must listen. Welcome to the Seven Figure Builder Show. I'm Julie Baranek, and welcome to the show, Bill.
Thank you. Excited to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. I am so excited. We were talking before the show that we've got so much coming up to chat about with the listeners. But I wanted to start with tell us about and take us back to a moment that where everything shifted for you. I know you've got some incredible things in the works, but I wanted to go back to like what was that pivotal moment for you?
Sure. I would honestly say last year on Thanksgiving, it was actually the day before Thanksgiving. I was sitting right here. My daughter was sitting next to me. I was doing calls and all that. And she goes, Dad, I'm not really feeling that good. And it progressively got worse. By 11 o'clock that night, we took her to the hospital and we found out that her colon had ruptured.
Oh my God.
And she was within 2 hours of dying.
Oh my
And
God.
I will honestly say that changed how I thought, think, and feel about everything from the past and moving forward. So that was a very transformational, emotional, and really put things in perspective of what is really important.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And how did that shift your path going forward, right? That's such a pivotal moment for you.
Yeah, I think with sales, right, and we kind of bringing it back there is that idea of the emotion, the empathy, the understanding the other side. And I always say to salespeople, he or she who gets the most amount of information wins.
Mm.
And I say, why? Because anything you can say can and will be used against you in a court of sales. And that means really, right? I want to be able to get as much information so I can help the other side. I can, walk in their shoes and really understand what matters to them. Why are they looking to make a purchase? What are the driving factors, right? Not just, oh, we want to make more money, but why do you want to make more money, right? Do you want to hire more engineers and build your product better? Do you want to bolster your marketing and demand gen and start growing there? Are you looking to go for a Series A or Series B or whatever where you are next, right? And really understanding them, showing them you understand why they want to do something, because that's where the value comes from for them. And with the company we're starting, Insightful, that was one of our core things was, how do we get just beyond words, objection handling? Here's discovery docs, but really get to the core of understanding why is someone making a purchase and why are they allowing us into their worlds and interact with their company to help them get better. It's not because they want to go here, I want to give you some money so your company
Right.
does well. They're going, I want to give you some money so my company does really well. And we have to flip that script and that understanding.
Yeah. And that makes total sense. Like we all know that we have the logic side and we have the emotional side and we buy off of
Yes.
emotions. So the more that you can connect to really connect to somebody, not just use the emotion to convert their decision making, right? But like genuinely connect with them and understand, the more impactful we can be, the more we can help them truly to get closer to their goals. And then the sales that we make are in the process to help them accomplish their own goals, right? Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. And then we started really looking at large language models, right? All this AI stuff popping out, right? And really, we started to realize there's more than just the words. There's tonality, there's emotion, there's even facial recognition, right? All those kind of things add up to sometimes you're getting smoke blown at you.
Mhm.
And part of it's because of the way you're asking questions or what you're focusing on. And being able to find that out as early in real time as possible is helpful,
Mhm.
right? Is someone just tire kicking me, right? If they are, how do I help them do their tire kick and I can move on? Or how do I get them past tire kicking and go, oh, well, this is maybe I want to look at the rest of the car and move on, right? But, that no is the second best answer to yes. How do I get to that no so I can use my time, right,
Right.
effectively as a salesperson or a marketer or a CRO or whatever? I don't want my team chasing dreams. I want them chasing and working with the folks that really want to work to you. It's almost kind of taking a little bit of the Simon Sinek why
Mhm.
and kind of like mixing it all up in a drum with all the sales methodologies.
Yeah, I love it. So I want to dive into that actually because you've got an amazing platform called Insightful, right? That is an AI platform
Yes.
that helps with sales. So tell us what that is because this is brand new and something that the listeners haven't heard about yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also, hopefully, people will go take a look. So we'd love your feedback, right? This is for you, and that's the cool part about
Mhm.
AI is we can do things to support you and help you do the things you want to do, right? With the way agents and agentic AI kind of works. But really, the idea was, how do I get this right? You think of all the tools that are out there right now. When if I have a call with you right now, right
Mhm.
on a sales call and you're my sales leader, when are you going to listen to that call and when are you going to see the results and talk to me about that later,
Right.
right?
When I get
After it
to
happened.
it.
But it's a little too late,
Yeah.
right? And that's the hard part. And so what we want to do is how do we build this so it can happen now live? I can color code my answers, right? AI, we have it in there now. It will red, yellow, green, so you know, am I in a good spot? What's the emotion, right?
Mhm.
That will talk to you and it will aggregate your calls. So it will look at the past calls, give you those answers that were given in the past that worked well and make those as suggestions in live real time. And we also have what we call live operator, where, and I know other tools have similar, but this works really well because it's right in the platform. I can be on a call with a rep. The customer does not see me, hear me, or anything. And I can chat with the rep and help guide them in real lifetime.
Mm. Wow.
So it's that just in time versus a little too late.
Yeah.
That's where
Wow.
we want to bridge that little too late to let's get this just in time. And also, too, people, it becomes a more positive experience. It becomes positive reinforcement. You're
Mhm.
doing it, you're seeing the success of it, and then it builds better habits right from the beginning versus, a little wrist slapping and say, oh, you could have done a better upfront contract there, or you didn't ask a good discovery question there. That gets old and kind of demeaning. But when it's live and in time, and you're collaborating, now it's a tool where the AI or a live operator manager, right, you're collaborating and doing all the right things and fostering things right from the beginning.
Yeah. Well, and it helps reinforce those pathways in your brain of like, okay, don't go this way, go this way, right? Like you can kind of pivot real time with real time guidance to ultimately get to the goal that you're trying to get to.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's really one of the main goals. We always felt like sales, right? I've worked multiple places with him and, classes, coaching, right?
Mhm.
All that kind of stuff. And like he always said, he goes, it's great stuff, but he goes, it's after the fact. It's too late.
Yeah.
And we always wanted to bridge that gap. And now here we are taking that chance to bridge that gap and hopefully help salespeople really put that, Simon Sinek why in all the sales methodologies that can work with any. How do you put that in there and use AI to pull out and inform you of what's happening on that call live, right? I
Mhm.
get that color coding to the answers based on tone, on all the things that a large language model can do, but also the AI looking back at everything that's been said in the past, all your deals now that have been run through the AI, we can now surface all the answers that work correctly. Now coaching is happening in real time. Now
Mhm.
we can focus on how do I foster, practice that, keep that happening. Plus, the insights that we can get afterwards are now going to help you be able to plan for your next calls,
Hmm.
right? Being able to say, well, Julie's really interested in this, but Ralph, who's on the call too, he's more interested in that. How do I
Hmm.
bridge that gap? Right. And looking at other past deals, here's how that happened. Now you can strategize and start having your conversations. And again, have the AI or live operator or both kind of give you guidance as you go forward with those insights all the way through the sales cycle.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, it's kind of like I picture in the movies, like you have that little, guy in your ear walking you through the conversation, right? Or I joke with my husband all the time that for years I said I wanted a Jarvis, right, from the Avengers. And I'm like, now I have one. I didn't really
Exactly.
think I would.
Yeah, it's like having that free wiretap up in there, you
Right.
know? But
Exactly.
yeah, it's funny because I remember when we first started building this, and it was very at the beginning,
Hmm.
and me and Vu were testing some of the stuff on how this works, and he hit on something. He's like, Bill, you got to see this. This is when we were trying to bring the emotion, the coding of the red, yellow, and green of like, what's the sentiment of this call? Is it good? Is it neutral? Is this person that can tell they're pushing me off and
Hmm.
tire kicking or over objection handling just to kind of get it over with? And I remember Fu, I'm calling him. He's got a computer downstairs. He had another one upstairs, and he was pretending to be like a third customer. So
Right.
we were doing the call, and he's running up and down the stairs, being two different people. I'm being the sales rep calling from here, and that's you look at those kind of things, but it was fun building that,
Mhm.
watching those things happen and start to see them come to life. It was just for us, it was like, oh my god, look at what red when you told me to shut up. We
Yeah.
put things in there intentionally that we
Right.
knew it was going to pick up in the early days. Like Vu would be like, Bill, come on, you just pictured me, shut up. And it would burn, it went red. And we were like, yeah, look at that. It
It
picked up
worked.
the emotion right away.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what we were so excited about. And then blending it with that large language model to be able to really detect that red, yellow, green of, this isn't going so good. Okay, this is going neutral, but is this going really well and why?
Gotcha. That's awesome. It's kind of like the connecting the dots real time for you, with the stuff that you don't necessarily see in the conversation. And what are people seeing as they're using it? Like, tell us about the
Absolutely.
results that you're seeing.
So we do have the video platform. So we with Zoom and the other tool. You have like a chat box, and it's highlighting all the things that are being said, and it's color coding them as you go. It's also giving you insights of things that you could be saying, should be saying, things that have
Mm.
worked well in the past, right? Based on other deals, things that have happened. So it's giving you not only the sentiment, but it's giving you recommendations, or you have a newer rep, you want to be able to help them, you can do it through a live operator and be chatting with them. The customer's not seeing it or the prospect's not seeing it, right? But at the same time, you're being able to give that coaching and guidance and hear and be kind of an active participant in the call with your reps. And we've seen some really good examples too, where customer success using it as well, right? Where people are telling you, oh yeah, it's great, we love it, we're going to renew, and then next thing you know, 6 months later, they don't renew,
Yeah.
right? How do I pick up those sentiment? How do I find those things that matter to me? Are they really just giving me lip service, or
Mhm.
do they really like my product? But also being able to then guide towards, away from, are you using it? Do you like it? To, okay, you're using it, you like it. What else can we help you use it for?
Mhm.
Right. And I think that's where, for customer success, right? And again, I think most people are SaaS out there that are going to be the most interested in something like this. Well, we know the most important pillar of SaaS is keeping your customers, right?
Mhm.
That's what makes it one of the eighth wonders of the world, right? Is I can keep my customers and build on top of that. But how do I keep those customers, and what are those things they want to do? And what are their next aspirations to want to do? Now the focus is on, I don't have to ask you, are you using it? You're telling me how you're using it. and you're telling me how you want to use it in the future. So now I really am customer success. I'm really doing what you want, not what I want, and just checking boxes towards your renewal.
I love that. And what do you see as the roadmap going forward? I know you guys are working through the product and launching it and all that stuff, but what is next after that?
Wow. One of the biggest things right now we've been talking about is how far do we want to go? What other things do we want to do? And where do we want to stop? So we're not trying to do too much all in one
Mhm.
shot. And I think right now it's getting that large language model working really well, which it is, right? And being very stable, which it has been, and really just getting people comfortable using it and getting away. I think the biggest challenge is going to be getting away from after the fact to real time.
Mhm.
And then analytics and the output, I think, are going to be that's where we're really focusing. So you don't lose that concrete feeling, right? Of you could have this, think all your deals are in here, all your calls are in here.
Mhm.
Do you really need a playbook? But how does that feel to not have a playbook? Right? Because the playbook's happening right in front of you all the
Right.
time when you're on
It's
the cell
live.
phone, right? But what can we do to give you that feeling that you have some of those concrete things that you can bring to forecast meetings? And that's one other thing we've been really shoring up is just in time live forecasting.
Mm.
So the idea of this sentiment forecasting the deal and matching that with your forecasting percentages or rules and being able to put those together. And we've had some really good success with that live with real customers. So I think it's that, and that's kind of opens up that world. Now we're into forecasting,
Mhm.
right? But also we're getting sentiment. Where does that fit into first, second, third party, right? Understanding of customers and that knowledge, right? We lost a lot of that second party world with Apple and Gmail privacy, right? You have first and third party, but now we can collect sentiment. We have sentiment on how things are working. That's huge, right? That becomes signals, becomes those understanding of things, and how does that maybe even translate and help demand generation folks in marketing, right? Get to those right places, find those right signals. Because if we're seeing certain things people are talking about and they're always turning green on calls, well, how does that get that loop to building the right content, the right demand generation messaging, right? To bring and take advantage of those things that people are really excited about.
Mhm. Yeah, and I'm a total techie geek, so I love this stuff. But for people that are maybe not so tech savvy or they're like, I don't know about this, like, what would you say to them? And what are the applications for this? I know we were talking about that earlier.
Yeah, I think it's that ability to get it to be live, right? It's just
Mhm.
in time. Instead of coaching after the fact, now you can coach live. You can coach there.
Mhm.
Now your conversations afterwards become more productive. They become around things that happened, right? Think
Mhm.
about when, as a sales manager or even an enablement person or a coach, sometimes it's a little bit like, yeah, no kidding, right? Yeah, you didn't do this, you didn't do that, or boy, yeah, you did this really well, but now that already happened on the call. Now
Mhm.
it's how do we talk about what are we going to do next? Okay, the call was yellow till about three-quarters of the way through. Now it's at green and they're happy and they want to talk again. Well,
Mhm.
taking all that information and what we do have in the platform, how are you going to prepare for that next call? How are you going to prepare for that good discovery? How are you going to prepare for a good demo, right? That, starts at the end and kind of gets you to where you want to go. I think it's going to open up a world of more strategizing than
Mhm.
just focusing on the coaching because the coaching happened on the call.
Right.
Now it's okay. We got past that. We know what's working, what didn't work on the call. You're starting to, you do three, four, five of those calls. Eventually, like you said, I'm going to start. That's what I'm going to be saying and doing going
Yeah.
forward. So it kind of takes some of that out. Now, what are you doing? You're becoming a real leader and manager by working on strategy. What are we going to do on this next call? How are we
Mhm.
going to prepare for this demo? Right? How are we going to help the COO who's coming in and pointing at certain something that never came up before with, say, a CRO or someone in the sales or marketing world.
Yeah. Yeah. And I see this super useful for the sales perspective, of course, right? For the salesman themselves and for the sales coach. I work with a lot of sales coaches in my business, and they can have that real time feedback, right? Like you said, you can have them in your ear helping guide you as you're live on the call, and they don't have to listen to 1,000 hours of calls after the fact, right? And then going through and giving their clients more feedback. Like they can actually use this tool, I would imagine, to help them real time, to help guide them, and then also guide them further, right? So helping them real time as they're on call, stuff like that. So I can see other applications for that more than just direct to consumer, like the
Yeah.
trainers as well, right? Like train the trainers.
Oh, absolutely. And it changes the, having used it now in that coaching capacity, it changes what those conversations become, right?
Hmm.
Now you can focus on very strategic
Right.
things, but also then you can practice, right? Muscle memory,
Hmm.
right, is such an important part of what we do, anything we do, right? Like I was watching basketball last night,
Hmm.
right? Luka Doncic, really great basketball player, and they were playing the Celtics, my Boston team here up north. And but one thing, I watched one of his shots.
Hmm.
He drove, stopped, and he did this little pirouette and then just shot, and it looked choreographed. Why? Because it was muscle memory
As
and
it
practice.
was.
It looked like a ballet dancer, right?
Right.
I mean, as much as Luca can look like a ballet dancer, he did,
Yeah.
right? And I think that's where we want to be able to help bridge the gap,
Yeah.
right? One of my best SDRs that I ever worked with, one of the things we used to do is we go in a room and he'd write on the board what he want to say.
Mm.
And they say it to me like 10, 20 times. No, I don't like that word. That's not me. I don't say that. Okay, take it out. What do you want to say? Write it out again. You say it to me 10, 20 times. And he'd get it to where he'd want. And we'd literally go out, get our steps in, and he'd say it to me 100, 200 times
Mm.
and build that muscle memory. But he also became very successful and is now a very successful person. And that's one thing I took away from that. Because now I can focus on the muscle memory.
Yeah.
Maybe you didn't say something right and we course corrected you either with the AI recommendation, right, or the coach's live coach recommendation. But now what we can do is spend the time practicing that afterwards and building the muscle memory, not focusing on, oh, let's listen to this call, let's find that spot.
Right.
What do you think happened? And it already did.
Yeah.
And we course corrected live. But then when we can get off, now we can practice that and get that muscle memory. Now we can do our sales Luca pirouette, right? And have everything go really good.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. No, I love that. And then you can focus on really dialing in those critical pieces instead of like trying to digest an entire call every single time. You have like the cliff notes, right? Dating myself too, but like back in the day, we used to have
Yeah.
those and it was
Well,
the
it got us
important
through high
thing,
school.
right?
Sure did.
Before AI. So
Exactly.
I love that. So for people that are hearing this, they're like, my God, I need that. Where can they find you online?
Sure. Insightful, INSYGHTFUL.ai. And also, you can reach out if you want to email, talk about anything, just kind of want to see it, get a demo.
Mhm.
You can email me at bill@insightful.ai. And I will happily, I'll reach out to you as fast as I can. But also want people's feedback, right? I'm not also just looking for people like yeah, of course we all want customers, but I want feedback. I
Mhm.
want this to be what people want it to be. One of the things Vu posted yesterday, we posted something that was kind of a little controversial about unguarded AI, right?
Mm.
And we had it say an expletive and then give ideas. And we're like, what would you think if you ever saw that? We would never, ever do that. Kind of the point was, if you let AI go unfettered and you're not structuring it the way you want, you may not get what you want. And that's why our structure, the way things and the way we work with that large language model isn't going to give you that. But we wanted that insight. Like, how would you feel if you got something like this?
Mm.
And people are like, yeah, honed right in on that word. Yeah, no, don't say that.
Right.
But there were like all those real life insights that it was saying right on the screen while you're on with the customer were spot on. And they
Yeah.
were like, I would want that. I want it now. And I want it while I'm talking to the customer, not afterwards, not after I already lost the deal or
Yeah.
they didn't want to book a meeting or they kind of, yeah, okay, maybe I'll take a look. Right now, I'm getting people to that right spot. But that's what we want too is feedback, right? Because we understand that this isn't for us, it's for them to use. Yes, do I use it as a coach? Yeah, of course I do, because it's mine, right? But that idea of we want this to be able to take advantage of the power of AI and also become what people want it to be,
Mhm.
because we're going to be able to build this off all your call recordings,
Mhm.
right? So not only is it based on the history of your calls. But as your calls continue to happen, the AI is going to constantly be trained to what people are saying. So if something, a new thing, GDPR, right, or whatever,
Mhm.
all those kind
Yeah.
of things people throw at you, and they all have ebbs and tides of in people's minds, out of people's minds. But as those things ebb and tide, so won't the AI and understand that and be able to give you the answers that have been happening that are working.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I absolutely love this. And I was just curious if you had the attention of the whole world for 5 minutes who was listening to this podcast, what would you tell them?
Honestly, from my favorite movie way in the past, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, at the end, be excellent to each other. I
Mm.
think just treating people well. I think that's extremely important. And part of why we wanted to build this tool is to help people do really well. I was originally a social worker, and it was tough to realize you couldn't make a living doing that,
Mhm.
and have a family and all that. But to be able to now help salespeople have really good lives, and all the people I've trained over the years, um, to see them have really good lives, fruitful lives, really good family lives, things like that. And I think in the end, that's what everything is about, is being excellent to each other. And that's what we hope as a company, Insightful, we can be excellent to you so you can do your job really well.
Awesome. Awesome. I love that. And can you give that website one more time so people can go check it out?
Sure. Insightful.ai, and that's insightful with the Y in the middle.
Perfect. And we'll have all the links in the show notes so people can come check you out. And I'm going to go check it out too because I love this stuff.
Yeah. And
I
please,
can't
there
wait
will
to go
be,
see it.
yeah, and there'll be a link. You can definitely request a demo, but feel free, please email me at bill@insightful.ai. I will be more than happy to answer any questions, set up time to do a demo, walk people through it. Because we're really proud of where it's going,
Mhm.
but we're only going to be even prouder if it's going to be doing what everyone wants. And the more feedback, ideas, and that idea, because with AI, this isn't constrained either. It's not
Mhm.
just going to be like, here's a report, here's your deal board, here's this,
Right.
here's that. This is literally going to take a life of your own based on your company, the conversations you're having, right? The industry needs that you're having. All those things are going to be taken into account. And also, we want to make sure that you're getting all that out of there for you specifically and not anyone else.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm just picturing like a whole sales team using this. You've got the top salesperson, and you always wonder what's their secret sauce. Now you can find out what is their secret sauce, right?
Absolutely. And that gives you the time to practice afterwards, right? Now you can make it your own because no two people are the same. That
Mhm.
top salesperson is not you. Maybe grew up in a different place, maybe even speaks a different language at certain times or
Mhm.
whatever. But that idea of being able to take the core idea and then practice, how do I make it my own afterwards, build that muscle memory, and then be green all the way through all your calls and get to wins.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you, Bill, for sharing this. This was amazing. Absolutely.
Thank you, and thanks everyone for listening.
Absolutely. And I can't wait to share this with the world And if you found value in this episode, please do share it. That's how people find us. And you can find me at sevenfigurebuilder.com. And I will see you on the next episode.